Hello, everyone. So we are starting to hit what I call the Christmas season, and what starts that off for me? Well, Long McQuaid brings out their gear issue for the year. This is for 23-24. So yeah, that's a definite. Oh yeah, it's that time of year. So today on the podcast I want to talk about why it's better to release music now than it was when I started, which was the early 90s. So in the early 90s, I got serious with music, and like we were going to record a CD, release a CD, do all that stuff, and we were going to become famous rock stars. Well, that never happened. Now back then, your ways of becoming becoming popular, to get your music out, was you had concerts. Same as today, you had concerts. You sell your product, so you'd sell your cassettes and CDs and stuff, and you'd hope for either word of mouth or a record company going, "Hey, this is interesting. This is different. I like this." Or you got yourself on the radio, you got yourself a distributor, which, was the way to do it. You had a product to get a distributor. Once you got a distributor, they would distribute it for you, and then hopefully people would see it in the record stores and buy it. So now when I say product, I'm talking about cassettes, CDs, and not as much vinyl back in the 90s. And that was when it was starting to fade out before it came rushing back like it is now. So that was the way we would go about it. So, and people my age, some younger, some older, they look at it and go, "Yeah, that was when you were making money on music." But really, were you? Like, let's be honest here. So I worked this out here. So yes, you're making more money it looks like you're making more money. So if let's say you had a CD, you sold it for $12, and on the expenses you made after you broke even. So we'll take it that after you broke even. So I'm not sure even what broke even would be. So I think if you had 500 CDs, and I worked it out at one point, breaking even was I would have to sell roughly, we'll just throw out a number. Let's say on 500 CDs, I have to sell 50 CDs to break even. So after I've sold those 50 CDs, I am now just making cash off of every single one of my CDs. So now ask yourself, how many guys do you know who did this and still have a box of CDs, probably have around 300 CDs, or at least half of their original amount on them? Like, how many do you think there are? There's probably quite a bit, because you might be one of these people. I don't know. Now see, I never did that. I did 50 CDs, and so yeah, and then I just kind of gave away a bunch. So yeah, I never worried about it. But then again, I never got to the point in the 90s to sell my CDs or try to get it promoted. And at that point, the internet was very, very small. So the pros are that yes, you will make money on your product right away. So, you are now making, you're now making like, let's just say $5 a CD, or you're now bringing in a little bit more revenue. But the thing is that once you're out of CDs, or nobody wants to buy them anymore, that revenue stream has now just cut right off. And if you didn't get yourself on the radio, because radio play would have given you more money because the royalties are higher. And the reason the royalties are higher is because there's no way of gauging exactly how many people are listening to a radio station at one time. So you don't have that ability. You don't have that that ability to say, okay, well, at this point there was 100 people listening, so you will get, you'll get. Let's just put it into Spotify perspective here. So there's 100 people listening. You will get a tenth of a cent on your song, and you will get, and so you'll make, what is that? That's $10, somewhere around there. So you'll make $10 on that hour if there's 100 people listening, which adds up. I agree. But the thing is, you have to get to that point. And so there's these barriers. So if nobody likes your music, so that's another barrier here. If nobody likes your music and record companies shy away from you, and you go the DIY route, do it yourself, DIY, and you go out, you spend the money at the recording studio, because at that point, not a lot of people had recording equipment. There wasn't a big need for, like, it was expensive, so a lot of people didn't have good recording equipment. And there was that mindset back then, which is still today, which drives me nuts, that you need to have, top of the line equipment, most expensive equipment. No, you don't. Even, like I said, I had my 90s music that I recorded and finished. I did all on a Tascam 4-track cassette player, or 4-track cassette recorder mix, system. I didn't do any fancy mastering to it. I've released it, and that music that I released gets about, I get about 3,000 listens a month on that, just on Spotify. So I'm going to talk about that too at some point, because I want to bring that up, because I'm going to tell you how much I make on Spotify, how much I make on distribution, like on royalties from distributions. But yeah, so that alone on its own gets about 2,000, a little over 2,000, give or take around 2,500 a month. It varies, but it's people are listening to it, they're liking it, because you have that 30-second thing with Spotify that you have to if you skip it before 30 seconds is over, that means that you didn't like that song. That artist isn't going to get any money for that. So you pass that 30 seconds and it's like, oh well, so people are listening to it, people are enjoying it. I'm happy. That makes me happy. That's what I want to see. It's not great money. It's not big money. I'll talk about that in a bit, but it's there. And I've always had that mindset. It's not what you have, because like people are like, oh well, that's just a demo recording. Is it really? Because there's a lot of really good demo recordings out there that are great, and they're not, it's not like, oh, they're terrible. No, there's a lot of good demo recordings out of there, and so that to me was kind of funny. But yes, when I started recording it, it was for a demo, but I was also doing it because I wanted to make it as good as I could, so that because I didn't want to shortchange people. I wanted them to enjoy what I was doing. So that's one thing. So let's talk about the cons again. Sorry, I got sidetracked. Excuse me. Once the product is gone, so are the sales. Yes. So once you have no more product, unless you got on the radio, your revenue stream has now died. So now let's look at today. This is always fun. So you can record your music anywhere. You can do it on a computer. Doesn't matter. You don't need the most expensive equipment. You don't need top of the line. You just need enough power. Well, I would say you need a little bit beyond the processing power. You need something good to record on. So like your Tascam mixers, your Zoom mixers, like these consoles. I looked at a Presonus one. these will do it for you. My recordings for well, the MPF Project, that was done. That's kind of a hybrid cassette. DP32 recording, because it was started on the cassette, the 4-track cassette, and then we moved it onto the DP32 to finish. All my songs have been done either on 4-track cassette, because I think Web of Lies was done on 4-track cassette, on Tascam 8 tracks, on Tascam 32 tracks, and as of today, because I'm releasing this on the 29th of September, we're releasing what's it called? The Sad Ukulele song, which I renamed to It's Over Now, bracket, The Sad Ukulele. And that is now that's going to be released as of today when this podcast comes out. So when this comes out at midnight, that's going to be released, which makes me laugh because I don't have time to put the links in for the songs. So, or for the thing. So just, if you have a link to my account on any streaming site, you'll see the Sad Ukulele pop up in the music. So listen to it, have fun with it. So that's coming on this today. That's coming out, and that was recorded on the Model 24, and that includes the remixing, not the remixing, the mastering done on the DP32. So that right there is, these are, and my personal account of 6 singles gets about 200 listens a month, roughly in that area. And same with the MPF Project, gets around 200 listens. So it's like I've always said, it's the music, it's the song, it's how you arranged it. That's what people are listening to. That's what they hear, and they're like, oh, I like this. This is good. I enjoy this. So that's what I want to get at here. So it's not the cost of the equipment. It's not that. But let's get back into this. So now recording now. So yeah, you can do it at home. So I do it at home. You're doing it at home. We're all doing it at home. Well, there are people who still go into studios and spend lots of money for no reason. And so I know there's going to be studio guys who are going to go, yeah, don't say that, but it's true. You don't need to create a product, so you don't have to spend the money on CDs, all that stuff. You don't have to, no cassettes, unless you want to. Like for me, I will probably not do that again, because it's just, there's no point. There's no market for me to sell it. I could, I have stuff on Bandcamp, and it doesn't, nobody worries about it, which is fine. And so I don't sell product. There are guys who do sell product, and they do very well. And a lot of them is because they do handcrafted cassettes and hand stamped this and that. And hey, I applaud them. I would love to be able to get some money that way. And I'm not saying this is all about money. It's not. It's just I'm trying to incentivize you to want to go further than what you are. So, let's see. Now, if you've done all this stuff, great. That's even better. Send me a link to your stuff, because I'll listen to it. I will, when I'm in the mood for something new, I will go and I'll listen to your stuff. It might not be right away, but it will be at some point. So you, nowadays, you also pay a distributor. So you pay, we'll say the top 2 that everybody seems to talk about, which is CD Baby and what's the other one? DistroKid. And they're 2 different ways. Like CD Baby is a one-time payment, and they're actually lowering their costs on the payments, because my last release was much cheaper, and so after everything was done. And then you have your subscription one, which is CD Baby, or not, which is DistroKid, and I've seen another subscription one, and I looked at it and went, I can't believe anybody would actually sign up for that, because it was really like the cost, like you're paying for every little thing, like you're paying to get onto every little thing. I have no idea about CD Baby, and not CD Baby, DistroKid, because I logged in wanting information, and then you have to log in, give your credit card and all this, or give your credit card and all this stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that, because I don't have anything I want to distribute, and I don't know if I want to use you. I want information. So yeah, I didn't do it. I don't know if it's still that way. This was a couple of years back. So then what happens is when you release your music that way, you get money from the streams. Now, granted, it works out to be about 1/10 of a cent. We're just talking about Spotify here. The reason we talk about Spotify is because that is the most popular thing. So yeah, but the thing is the difference is now is it's not a matter of you get paid every time somebody listens to it. So your music is always there, depending on how you do it. If you do it with a subscription, you just cancel subscription. No, but it's always there, and so now it's always available to whoever wants to listen to it. And so it's the nice thing is that nowadays it's less out of pocket expense, because you don't have to go into a studio and record, or you don't have to pay thousands of dollars on tons of equipment. You can just get a decent computer and install all this stuff, and there are so many free plugins to buy. Now, granted, I don't do that, but that's just me. And the other nice thing is you have worldwide distribution this way. So, your songs may not resonate in North America, but they might resonate in Japan. They might resonate in the Asian areas. They might resonate there. They might resonate in Europe. Like my one song, Roses. It's my best response for that song is in Germany, and so it's just that's where they seem to like it. And so yeah, just it doesn't matter, okay, so you're not stuck in one area. You're now all across the globe. You're getting listens everywhere, and it's much better. It's way better this way. Like, to me, that is, and like I said, so okay, so you're only getting 1/10 of a cent per listen. I've given hints on how to, get your songs rolling, because I've said don't do it organically. It's never going to happen. Just you have to push it out the door. You have to nudge it. And trust me, when today I'm going to be listening to what is that? The Sat Ukulele at least 3 or 4 times just to get the ball rolling. And I will do that, every day. I'll add it to my list of songs and get the ball rolling. That's how you do it. You have to push yourself. You can't expect somebody else to go, I like this song. You have to make it happen. So now, if you're wondering, how much do I make a month on this? I will tell you. I make about $30 a month on streams. This is just my CD Baby stuff. That's from them. That's all the different places which my music is on, and I make about $30. So it's about $1 a day is what I make. And I'm not complaining about that. I'm not, it would be nice to make more, but honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that I'm doing nothing. All I'm doing is I have released my songs, I have promoted my songs, and now I just kind of step back. So, in a year from now, if things keep the way they are, I will keep making $30 every month. and it might go up, it might go down. I don't know. But the thing is that's roughly where it is. And it's not a lot, but it's something. And it's kind of a cool thing to know that, you know, like I said, in Germany, Roses is very popular. People really like that song. And it just is kind of funny. So it's like there are people, and ever so often you'll see like a spike, because I go and I check. I'm on Spotify for artists. I go and I check all the time, and you see a spike, and then it comes back down. You're like, oh, I wonder what that was. And it's usually one song. Like recently, for some reason in the LA area, my one song, "Living in the Past," which is more of a bass instrumental. It spiked. I've now gotten, just this week, I've gotten 200 listens on that one song. And I'm like, well, that's weird, because it's like you see it and it's like boom, boom, or 200 unique listens. So it means it's not me doing it. It's something else. Somebody's listening to the song. And I'm thinking, well, that's kind of neat. So I'm waiting to see if like some rap artist has picked it up and is now using it as their backtrack for when they rap, which would be kind of interesting to see. I'm hoping I see something like that. So yeah, so that's what I'm getting at. So I really think, because I know a lot of guys who are sitting on music, and I really think you should just, you know, let your friends listen to it. Maybe they have some critiques for it. The average listener now, even back in the 80s, in the 90s, you know, you just wanted a good song. If the song was good and had a good beat and everything, you were into that. And I feel that's still the same way. So yeah, so go listen to your stuff. You want me to listen to it? Send me a link. If you go on to my About section, you can find my email address there and send me a link to your song. Or, you know, like, yeah, it's best if you do send a link. I wouldn't try to email the song. Like, just put like in a Dropbox link, and I will listen to it at some point. It may not be right away, but I will listen to it within a week. I will listen to it, because many times people send me email, I'm either working or, you know, I finally sat down and I just want to be left alone, kind of thing. So, yeah. So that's my video. That's my podcast today. Have fun, and yeah, talk to you later. Bye.